What is going on, everyone? My name's Boyd, and I'm back with some more Age Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the green color, playing as Hades. His name is TSM Player. His partners today in the red color playing as Zeus. His name is Gold Lion. And in the blue color playing as Loki is Squash. Their opponents today in the yellow color playing as Loki. His name is Scardy. And in the teal color playing as Zeus. His name is Shelty. And in the purple color playing as Loki, his name is Joe. We've got Team DoD versus Team F2 with the added member of TSM Player rounding out the team. Some of the best Age Mythology players, Age Mythology team game players in the world in this game. This is a very, very high level game. This was submitted to me via the Twitch channel points thing. If you want to submit recorded games that you think might be good, you can do so over on Twitch. They cost 10,000 channel points. It's a rich price to pay, but it means you're going to pick wisely when you get to that price. I do only do Voobly or the original game recorded games at the moment because of the way that the extended edition recorded games run on my computer. They run at 0.75 speed, so they just take a little bit long to get through, and running on Play Fast is unwatchable. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. All that being said, I can watch extended games live, so that's the thing. Anyways, we see the spy coming up here onto the Ulfsark. An interesting one there by Scardy. If you're quick, you can hit this F7 button and see that the spy is being used. If you're scouting out your opponent, you can notice that. And we do see that Squash is deciding not to use his own spy on Scardy here for some reason, unless I missed that. Yeah, he's not used his own spy here. So he's faked spying on this, but I mean, Scardy's smart enough to know the F7 trick and high level enough to know as well the house coming down for Squash. I'd like to see him move back over into this blackness here and find these food villages, and that should be where he spies, but it could be anywhere. And I actually really, really like this spy from Scardy, because essentially what it's going to do is it's going to give him all of the areas that Squash is going to scout. And it's a bigger amount of scouting because the spy gives just a little bit more line of sight. And he's going to be able to see the entirety of his opponent's base, which you otherwise wouldn't see. Scardy does find these giraffe here, which has got to be nice. As well as hyena. Hyena are a very undervalued hunt source on Oasis. It's 100 food apiece, and there's 2 of them there. So 200 food that he can gather that are huntables. So definitely want to pick those up as well. We jump back over to the other side of the map here. Player's not found his hunt at all here, it looks like. Oh, it's right here. That's unfortunate. He's done the goat scouting, but it's just in the wrong spot here. The giraffe are walking out, so maybe if player spots it at some point, he'll move over here, but looks like he's still scouting with the catascopus, trying to get every square inch of the map, and he'll see the giraffe now and possibly move to them a little bit later. It's not the worst thing in the world to be missing out on the hunt, but coming early, sometimes you get it at some point in these team games to catch back up. There's Forseti for Squash as the... is this going to work? No, it doesn't. As we go through here and check out all of the advanced times, Gold Lion very, very late. I imagine player is going to be late as well. And if we check out over here, we've got Shelty going late as well. Unless there's a relic worth picking up, I don't understand the early Jasons here. We see Athena coming through for Shelty, so it looks like he's going to send villagers over onto this side of the map and go for an all-in onto Squash with Athena. I love this play though from Shelty, though delaying the Jason probably makes a little bit more sense to get the military academies up fast. Though, is he not? Where'd the villagers go? Maybe he's not going for it. This is peculiar. I've got no idea what the plan here is for Shelty. Maybe a fast Underworld? Fast Apollo? hoplites going. Crazy idea. Skadi hits the classical age through Forseti. He didn't actually go for these giraffes here. It looks like the Jason's going to make their way over here, but Squash should be able to defend this very easily. He should have a couple of Hersa out already. She will have here moving forward, and there's a pair of gold lions to grab as well, and he should be able to defend against the Jason. And but there are Hersa coming in as well. It's going to be enough to force Squash back in actuality. So the early Jason ends up being a little bit useful here. Meanwhile, over here, Joe has hit the next stage. He's Loki as well, throwing down his barracks. Playing very slow here, not early, no early Hersa. And the micro from Skadi being nice here, but also from Squash is trying to get pickoffs here. Needs to retreat those low HP Hersa, and he does lose one of them. That's a big victory there. Also drops the gold lion there. The pair of golden lions. Healing spring goes down. And this gold mine is very, very open here. Player hits the 6-minute advance time. I haven't seen that in a high-level lobby in a very, very long time. But 6-minute advance time for the player. And there's the stables coming up for Shelty. So not going for hoplites here. I'm very confused. I would have thought that this could potentially just simply be just a normal Athena rush for Shelty. But he's just going for the Hippocon. So not as all in. But check out Gold Lion. He's going Zeus here. He's going for Hermes, I believe. Oh no. Did he go for... Gold Line went for Hermes, yeah. But he's going for Hoplite Toxotes himself. That's wild and surprising. I would have thought he would have gone for Hippocon here. But the Minotaur getting sniped here, or almost getting sniped. Troll spawn. It's not the best spawn for this matchup. Skadi's still awaiting his first spawn, so it should come fairly soon. As the Hoplites moving in. Got to be careful not to take too many fights here against the Loki as Zeus, or even as Loki for that matter, because every time they fight, they get more favor, which means more Myth unit spawns. And there's a Valkyrie spawn for Skadi, so that's absolutely huge. Meanwhile, Joe and Player are just doing nothing against each other, which is totally fine. I don't think Sentinels was cast. There's the restoration by Player and the restoration by Shelty to defend it. You always want to cast that restoration second if you can. A troll spawn for Skadi, not the best one. Still no Einhjar spawn, so no outright winner on the Myth unit spawns for either player as Squash continues to get unlucky here. And if you check out the trolls, they have 2.16 favor. And they get up very, very fast by killing it off. Because they do bonus damage, obviously, the Herso do. Another troll spawn for Skadi. It's the most sad roll of a dice you've ever seen. And it looks like Shelty and Skadi are winning this very, very hard at this point. As Goldline just a little bit too slow to get his army started. And fighting at this stage for the Zeus. It's not what you want to do. Meanwhile, we've got a really nice raid here by Joe, hitting the houses and hitting the military buildings. He should go for straggler units here. And it looks like Gold Lion's housed, obviously, because he lost those two houses there. And there's the army for Gold Lion. We see Skadi coming in, going to be hitting Gold Lion's army. This is a really big pick-off here for Skadi and Joe. Meanwhile, TSM player is just happily booming here. So the best play for TSM player is probably rush Heroic Age to Apollo, defensive Underworld. We're seeing all of Gold Lion's units falling here. Now, Squash looking for a raid. He sees the spied Skadi villages here, so he's going to try and sneak in here, but Skadi spots it. We do see a couple of units here. Straggler unit's going to get picked off by Squash, so that's a big pick off there. Einhjar spawn going after their houses as well. We see Joe going after these military academies, the archery ranges here, and we're seeing a Squash continuing to push forward onto onto Scardy's base here. Scardy returning with the Iron here, with the Ursa. The Iron ER here, though, can help out. We're not seeing Squash make any sort of attempted retreat. The Iron ER gets picked off before it can help out at all. Meanwhile, do we have Hall of Fames for both players? We do have Hall of Fames for both players. Another Iron ER spawn for Squash, but it's not good because he has to retreat it. There's too many Ursa for Scardy, and another Valkyrie spawn. This is probably the best spawn to get when you're not in the middle of a big fight, because then you can move that Valkyrie around in that army of yours. Meanwhile, we're seeing the army of TSM player coming over here to push Scardy and Shelty and Joe away from this location here. And the walls have been thrown up now for player to help prevent Joe from coming into the action here. Now we're seeing Joe and Shelty looking for some raids over here onto Gold Lion's base. Gold Lion is 2 town centers, so is player. And DoD doesn't have a second town center just yet, but Joe is throwing up his own second town center. That's not something I particularly like. Yes, you don't have the crazy amount of goats, but I feel like you've got Hunt here, you've got Berries here. There's no pressure. Go for a fast Heroic here. Go for a fast Mythic even if you can. But 2 town centers is going to be boomy. Delays the Mythic Age, but does give you a really strong economy to keep yourself relevant. Meanwhile, we see farms up for Scardy as well, moving forward onto this gold mine. We've got the Scardy's myth units just taking an eye, keeping an eye on the back of this base here. Potentially checking for a second gold mine for Squash. And Squash has run out of gold here. He's mining gold over here. And I don't think that the DoD team knows about it. They don't know that there's a gold mine here. This sliver of unscouted territory is going to be a big advantage for Squash. And meanwhile, Squash has got the throwing axeman out as well here, which is going to be really key in picking off those Hersa from afar. Scardy casting his flaming weapons here, forcing Squash back, but there's a ceasefire. Did you just ceasefire here? Maybe there's no point. Squash and Scardy, oh, he's still getting some value here, but I'm surprised there's no ceasefire. I guess Squash doesn't care too much, and we see Shelty trying to get a surround over here, and there's the ceasefire finally. We finally see that the Valkyrie has spotted this gold mine now. And how far is, the question is going to be, how far is Squash to the Heroic Age? We see the entire armory of Gold Lion here. But we have an Underworld. Player can Underworld Gold Lion's army into the back here and kill off town centers if he wants to. We've got a single red Catastropus here. Find the gold villagers of Shelty. Hit that with the Underworld of TSM player. And that will be huge. And then he can just go town center raid and go raiding with his army. Send Squash through there as well. Would be completely fine. It would be a brutal attack. We see some walls coming up for Squash in order to defend against this location, but there is a gap here. We even got some of TSM players' units over here just to help make sure that Squash stays alive. There's the Underworld, but it's a defensive Underworld for TSM player to help here. And Joe, nowhere to be seen on this side of the map just yet. Now seeing that players' units just not enough to defend here. Shelty's got basically, well, not pure Toxotes, but he's got a ton of Toxotes here. He needs to get them back and make sure that the Hersa are fronting here. You don't want the Toxotes fronting because they die so very fast. They stay alive. They do a lot of DPS. Very low HP. Meanwhile, Gold Lion's got exactly the same unit comp, or it's exactly the same amount of Toxotes here. Big ball of them. And the Mountain Giant spawns. The Battle Ball coming in for Scardy, ready to help out quite a bit, but there's a lot of heroes here for TSM and F2 in order to take them down. The Mountain Giant, absolutely huge, 1200 HP. Meanwhile, we've got Joe taking his army and going to be hitting player. He is Hades, but with the Battle Ball here, it's going to be very difficult to defend because these Battle Ball do a lot of damage. You can also cast Flaming Weapons if he so chooses. And if he gets lucky on a Mountain Giant spawn as well, that's another thing that he has to be careful about. But Joe retreating here. The temple just about to fall. See if Joe decides to flaming weapons or if this gold mine gets denied at all. Looks like Gold Lion and Squash have defended for the time being, with Jason swiping away at the battle ball. Doxotes here to help out as well. Now Scotty trying to sneak in onto this gold mine, get some damage done. Joe deciding to retreat back here. Maybe going for this underworld passage wouldn't be a bad idea here in order to cut off the assistance. And we're seeing that Joe's probably going to attempt to just bash through this wall, maybe move on to Gold Lion, because it's much easier to destroy the Gold Lion town centers. And Joe's got 3 town centers himself, so he's going to have an incredible economy going here. There's the Mountain Giant spawn here for Scotty. He's probably going to be able to... Oh, I don't know if he wins this fight, especially with the battle ball being idle. A little bit unfortunate there. They're going to be making a runaway there with that unit. And final last Hersa does fall. Got more units coming in for Squash to defend. Scotty's still trying to deal with Gold Lion's army here. With the help of Shelty, it should be okay. Now Joe comes in. He's going to hit Gold Lion's villagers. The battle ball actually don't help here. They hinder with that special ability. That's looking like Gold Lion's not reacting at all. So this is huge for Joe to get this raid off. He's probably going to pick off every single one of these villagers. Maybe 1 or 2 will survive. Or 3 survives. He lets 1 live. There you go. And he's going to make his way over onto Gold Lion's town center here. Meanwhile, Squash still able to defend, but the battle ball and Scotty's army coming in onto this gold mine here. Gold Lion hits the heroic age through Apollo himself, so he can go for his own underworld attack. He's got the Catascopus in position. Meanwhile, Joe's army getting chased back by player. I'm surprised that flaming weapons is still getting held onto. If we check out Joe's economy here, he's got 29 favor in the bank, and he is going through hell. I don't like hell in this matchup. Well, in a 3v3. TS the way to go, man. Help your opponents push. Imagine Thimble Winter right now would completely destroy Squash's economy. Would really hurt Gold Lion. And then your opponents can push in and just win the game at this stage. And there's Squash with the Bragi himself, though. So that's going to be a small issue that this team's going to have to deal with. Joe's actually about to go 4 town centers here, so it's going to be absolutely huge. But TSM player should be going to the Mythic Age here. He is going through Artemis as well. Though I don't like the Artemis as much as Hephaestus in this matchup, Mythic Age is still good. Now the Nidhogg's here. You got to be careful with this Nidhogg, because there's not any way to defend against the Nidhogg as Greek. You have the Chiron, but it's not very useful. And there's the Earthquake. Where's he cast it? Earthquake on Scotty's base, but doesn't... Well, it does kill the town center. It kills off a lot of houses as well. And the temple. That's some serious Earthquake destruction there. But Scotty out of position, throwing up this town center here. That's some good damage. We'll see if he gets his hometown center up instantly or not. We could see an underworld tier. Squash moving his Hersa here as well. The army of these units should just underworld the backer here. That will be huge, and he could pick off all these villagers as well. They're not going for it. Meanwhile, Joe pushing in with this Nidhogg doing super damage, and the Fire Giants as well. Whole bunch of Ballastra out for Joe. He's got so much economy. Though the Ballastra, that's going to be the best. There's the Plentybolt. There's the flaming weapons for Joe. This town center still hasn't gone back up just yet. And Gold Lion going to be retreating, maybe running in through this underworld. Doesn't decide to do so. This player's going to have to somehow defend. He's got the... Did I hear it? There's a... I thought I heard... Well, maybe he had it out and was sniped by the Ballastra. Ballastra are really good against I guess it's Perseus. Really good against Perseus because they do so much damage. You see this 9 pierce damage, but that's only for 1 Ballastra, and they shoot 4. So they do crazy amounts of damage. Not all of the projectiles hit, but with flaming weapons, I'll just snipe the Perseus very, very fast. There's a town center up for Scott. He's getting his home town center back. Squash is making a move forward here with his Ursa, getting chased down by Scotty. And Joe's just slowly and methodically pushing forward here. There's the Perseus. You just move forward and kill a fire giant here. We'll see the Ballista immediately target him. Look at this damage. Boom, half HP. Boom, dead. 400 gold in 2 seconds, but he did get 300 gold worth of value there. So definitely worth it for him to do so. He needs to build some other units there. Scardy's hitting the Mythic Age through hell as Flaming Weapons gets cast here. As Shelty gets caught out. And the Nidhogg on top of these Toxotes going to do so much damage. The splash damage is huge. You have to kind of hit Alt-X onto your Toxotes when the Nidhogg gets spawned so that it doesn't get to do the splash damage. Now Joe pushing forward here with these ballasts and taking it slowly. He's got the advantage here. He can pretty easily take this down. Does he have engineers? He doesn't even have engineers. He doesn't have burning pitch either. So these ballasts don't do a lot of damage at all. But there are a lot of them, so they will do a lot of damage. And now we see TSM player coming in with a Heliopoli from behind. There's no units to stop this. These Heliopoli can pick off the Ballista very fast, but the Ballista have got crush damage, so they're going to do bonus damage against the Heliopoli and will be able to take them down fairly fast as well. There's another Perseus ready to take down another fire giant, and Joe not paying attention here. He's going to lose that fire giant without microing it back, and Joe actually getting pushed back here when he should be winning at this stage. Meanwhile, on the top of the map here, this town center was taken down as Squash and Goldlion are pushing forward here very, very nicely. Shelty moving forward, ready to take down some, or Scardy moving forward, ready to take down some more of those Toxote ball here. Really nice play from Scardy, but he is hurting at this point. He does have a lot of fire giant to build, and there's no Perseus over this side of the map. There is a Bellerophon. Look at the battle ball raids onto Squash here, doing the crazy amounts of damage. Bellerophon over on this side of the map, though, trying to help take down the Ballista. Really strong unit to do so, because he basically one-hits them. They've only got 58 HP, and the special attack does 100 hack damage. So I think it does 80 damage in total or something to the Ballista, and jumping in, taking down the fire giant Perseus coming in onto the Ballista here. Meanwhile, the Nidhogg of Joe looks like it's getting sacrificed here to the Chiron. The Chiron can chase this one around. It's only 4.0 speed versus the 5.0 speed, plus the town center there. Ready to take it down, so well played by player in order to deal with that one. And Shelty and Scardy still have managed to deny Squash this town center, and Squash still hasn't got his own second town center as this game is still going on. And Joe needs to get some, the fortress over here. Joe needs to get some better upgrades for his units. He should have crazy economy here. It's looking like he doesn't though. He has a lot of villagers. How's he get the economic upgrades? He's short heroic age upgrades, which matter a lot as Norse. I mean, they matter a lot to everyone, but that would help out quite a bit. Now we have some Myrmidons coming in for Goldlion. The Nidhogg's still just sniping units here as they're retreating. Still no Underworld being used from Goldlion. I think it would be a very important thing, like hit the back of the Loki Town Center or something like that to help out player push forward as an option. Now the fire giant are here. These fire giants just completely decimating everything. And another fire giant spawned to boot. Shelty should probably grab this down center here. He does as the Greek player. Much stronger on him. Down 4 town centers, and it's like Scardy hasn't grabbed his back town center either. Now the Bellerophon picking off more of these Joe units, and Joe actually needs to make raiding cavalry here. One of the weird points in the game is this 20+ minute mark when the Greek players make Toxotes Hypaspis to deal with what your army composition is. And basically you have to transition into champion raiding cavalry for a small amount of time in order to push him back before you start up the towers and such, and then kind of go into more of a Huskull based army. I mean, you can make Huskull and make the towers first, but if the pacifists are out, it's really difficult. And now the Fire Giant taking down the town center. Heliopoli are here for Gold Line, but Squash is about to go down to 0 town centers as this game is going on, and these farms in the back are only so useful. Elephant jumping in there, taking one of those battle boar down. Joe is apparently losing over here against Player. His Player is just sort of crazy good at the game. He's still able to defend here. Going 4 town centers against 2 town centers. Looks like the army upgrades are pretty lackluster for both players as well, as the town center finally falls for Joe. But on this side of the map, it's looking like Scardy and Shelty should be able to push forward, but with the help of Zeus, with the help of these Hephaestus Myrmidon with full iron upgrades, it's going to be really tough. More myth units getting picked off here. Down center trying to come back up with Squash. He's probably 100 of 100 population here. Just about. Lots of resources in the bank. Does he have an armory up? He doesn't even have an armory up, so he can't upgrade his Hersa. More economy coming Squash's way, but Squash doesn't need that here. He needs population space. Meanwhile, Joe, sorry, losing this front here. Got the ballaster out, but that's just not going to work. And this is kind of just showing Joe's inexperience here with the Norse civilization to know what to do in the late game here. Or the mid to late game, I guess, early late game. He's just spamming these throwing axemen out. It's just not going to work. Gold Line casts his Underworld Passage on this back town center here, but there is a battle ball over here. Heliopolis popped through, ready to go for the hometown center of Scardy. Where's the Myrmidon? Underworld Passage for Shelty here to defend. Will he get the town center up or not? Looks like he won't. The Colossus is here to prevent the town center. It's a really nice play from Shelty here as the Fire Giants come in to snipe the Heliopoli. And this just gets completely denied. But all of the units are coming through for Gold Line. Maybe he'll be able to defend it. He shouldn't be building this town center at this point. He should be getting military buildings up here. And that's going to give Squash enough time to get this town center back. This is a really smart play, actually, from Gold Line. He needs to get some heroes in here, though, to deal with the myth units. Otherwise, it's just going to get pushed back. We do see a fortress coming up. But the Colossi are too strong here. Going to take down the Underworld Passage fast and then clean everything else up. Meanwhile, this town center is being denied for quite some time for Joe. As Gold Line, Player, and Squash look like they are handling this fairly decently here. Alright, there's a ballaster or two here for Scardy to defend against the settlement going up, so keeping Squash on 0 town centers. But I guess at this point it doesn't matter that much apart from the 20 population. Like, Squash is fine to continue producing units. I think it would be better actually for Gold Line to take this town center, build another 10 or so trade caravans, and then have Squash turn some of his economy into Ulfsark, and then just go be basically 100 pop Player getting fed by Gold Line at this stage. Might be a better idea. Isaiah's getting another Frost Giant kill here. Just retreat back. He's got 121 HP. As he's gone through Apollo, he should get Temple of Healing to help get this Perseus back up to full HP, but moving Perseus forward, you basically don't want to use Perseus in your army. It's like a Medusa. You move it in, you kill, you move out, and you try and get as many special attacks off per Perseus. Now we're seeing Shelter throwing up the watchtowers to secure this location here. Doing so very nicely, and we are seeing these These buildings getting cleaned up. Shelty going to grab this town center for himself, going up to 5 town centers here. There is a military academy still here for Gold Line. But the Jason just about to fall. Should be able to clean that military academy up fine. Tries to sneak a temple over here, but it would not work. Meanwhile, it's looking like Joe is managing to push back a little bit here. Shelty going for Titan Age here. We've got the Silver Colossus out for Shelty, ready to tank some stuff. More Fire Giant getting built for Skadi. This town center still hasn't gone up. Like I said, it's always an option to give this town center over to the Greek player who is the carry here. And now Shelty's 5 town centers going for a Titan Age. Gonna have 200 pop supply, I think. Just ready to pounce. He's got full upgrades on his units. He can make his own. Well, he should just make hoplites because it's against Greek as well. But Squash attempting to make a side build here, sneaking through with Seaman Cage Grower. He will grow a cage if he can get there. Looks like he's been spotted though. A couple of units here. It's not going to work out for him, I don't think. Maybe it will if he can run like all the way here. It looks like Squash is attempting to throw the longhouses down. He's been spotted by Skadi's Hersa. If he turns around and kills it though, maybe he won't be noticed. The blue dots maybe not get noticed. Let's see the Bellerophon coming in, ready to snipe these Ballista. Look at this man, the denial of the siege, so strong. Now looks like Joe is attempting to get this location back. What a madman! He's setting up Fire Giant Ballista. How does player win against the towers, against the Ballista, against the Fire Giant? It's too hard. It's too hard. This army's too strong. Look at the Greek units just melting here. So you can sort of deal with this a little bit by making mass Heliopoli. Sort of. So if you throw up 3 or 4 fortress and you just build mass Heliopoli to push through, you can sort of deal with it, but it's slow. It's a slow grind. DoD's just killing everything here. The DoD team is trading so efficiently right now that this is just going to be almost a war of attrition, and they're going to win eventually on this side of the map. So this is all up to Joe to hold essentially against the Greek with these units. He needs to throw up some walls here if he really wants to hold here. More towers coming up for Joe. Joe's probably over economized here. He's probably got a bunch of resources here. 60 villages plus probably like a 30 pop trade route. Is this what he's got? Let's see. Sorry for taking us away from the action. Just want a little teaching moment here for the Norse players in the late game here. So he's got 20 camel. He's got actually the right amount of ox caravans, but you don't need this many villages. You only need 40 villages once you're fully upgraded for Norse. They gather much faster than you think. So you could just transfer 20 of these villages into Ulfsark and then start this, do like an Ulfrag to get walls and towers up. Oh, nice side build from Squash here. He's trying to get it to happen. But Joe's defending with his own Ulfsark here. He hasn't managed to get any of these longhouses up just yet. Well, this is still going on here. Slowly but surely, the Ballista coming in. More fortress. Shelty needs to get out Petropoli here. Late game, Zeus is all about Toxotes, Petropolis, towers, push. That's how you win it. And Goldline's actually got there first, it looks like, because he's already got engineers. He may be able to make a small amount of pushing happen, but there are Ballista here, so it kind of counters this a little bit. Now Goldline getting his own Titan get out to defend against Shelties. Seeing some watchtowers coming up. Joe just 14, or even the dwarves here. Get the dwarves, all the dwarves into Ulfsarks. Come over, defend this. This watchtower will go up. Nice play from Squash. He's got the 3 longhouses here as well. Does he have the upgrade? No, he doesn't have Levy. Get Levy. It's good. And Shelty halfway to freeing his Titan now. As the marker gets taken down, Scardy's taking this town center for himself. The Colossus coming in to shut this down for Shelty. Smart play here. There's no heroes out for gold line, so these Colossus do a lot of damage. Our villagers coming in for Shelty, spamming up the watchtowers. This location still being held by Joe for the time being. The side build gets dealt with, but there is a mountain giant spawn here for Squash. That's funny. You could send that down to take down one of Joe's town centers here. And Scardy getting very close to getting this town center up for himself. There's no siege here to deny it. Once this town center goes down, the rest will fall very fast. There's more towers coming up for Shelty. The Titan's going to come out very soon as well. More old Sark for Scardy coming through. But the side build has happened for Squash. It's going to deny Joe's gold here, but Joe's got 3,000 gold in the bank here. This is almost a blessing in disguise, to be honest, to lose these ox caravan for just a little bit. And there's the town center up for Scardy, getting up to 3 town centers for the first time in this game. Well played. Squash still 0 town centers here. He's building farms over here. What a madman. You see Goldline trying to push through here. He's taking down this town center. Smart play. Sending the Myrmidon in onto the Loki player. He's going to go for this town center. We see some walls, some guard towers coming over here. The Ballaster here to defend, but the hoplites are on top of them. Shuts them down completely here. Nice play from player as these ballasts have no walls to hide behind. Town center going to shoot up very, very fast indeed here. This is really nice play. Gold Lion has got his Titan now, though. Slightly faster than Shelty. That doesn't matter. They're probably just going to trade for one another. I don't see the Titan reaching this town center and taking it down before Shelty's Titan gets there. Maybe it will get there, but I don't know if it'll take it down. Meanwhile, Ulfsark coming in for Joe. Joe defending this. He's finally transferred some of those villagers into Ulfsark. In fact, he's probably transferred the correct amount as well. Now he can come in and push back on this town center here. Titan just about to pop full Shelty here. Nice play for Shelty. Ballaster coming after the town center. Have taken yet another town center away from F2 and TSM player, but the Titan is here. Though he doesn't know which way to go because he's getting blocked by Squash. But I don't even know if this Titan will do much because the Ballaster are here, the Fire Giant are here, the Herser are here. Plus there's Colossus as well. I just don't know if this Titan will make it very far. Look at the damage these Ballaster just do. Look at this Titan just taking so much damage from them so far. The Herser as well. Because the Titan has so high armor, it's more like about the volume of damage you can do. So the pierce damage is basically 1 damage a shot. The crush damage is 1 damage a shot. So he's doing 2 damage every single Ballaster, single Ballaster, and they shoot 4 Ballaster, and every single one of them hit the Titan because it's so big. So it's doing 8 damage a shot basically, which is crazy amounts of damage. Probably a little bit more than 8 damage actually. More like 16 damage. There's crazy amounts of damage per shot there, when the Titan normally only takes 1 or 2 damage a shot. So that's why the Ballaster is so good against the Titan. That's why Siege is so good against the Titan. Meanwhile, Shelty's actually ignoring this. Realizes how important it is to help get Joe's town center back over here. He realizes that there's no way that this Titan does anything over here. He shouldn't even be fighting this. He should be just moving forward and cleaning up town centers. See Squash trying to get this town center back for himself here. Look. It's just craziness. Shelty's Titan coming in. Still hasn't done a whole lot. Still sitting at 7,000 HP. The town center coming back up. Shelty throwing up all the fortresses over here. Ready to defend, and Gold Lion's Titan kill with a grand total of one fortress or 2 fortresses. As the player decides in that moment he can't deal with the Titan himself, tapping out. Gold Lion taps out. Squash taps out. DoD wins. GG, well played. What a game. F2 was behind sort of the entire game. There was a moment there where I thought that player was going to clutch it out and take it through Joe, with the defense being steadfast over here. It just wasn't fast enough, and Shelty could come to the rescue. GG, well played. If you enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow button on the Twitch. Hang on, before we finish that sentence, let's check the post game out quickly. You got the economy is huge for everyone. The military count is huge. Resource total. We'll just look at the team stats here with the big advantage for DoD for pretty much the entire game. And if you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.